Hello, everybody. It's a pleasure to have everybody on board. Solomon, you're welcome. Alhaji Shuaibu, you're welcome to the TNN platform. You're welcome in sharing your knowledge in this podcast to the people, both in diaspora and in Nigeria. Our conversations on this platform are anchored around inspiring value for the Nigerian diaspora and the Nigerian audience at home, as well as the general public. In this vein, we'll give you the floor to introduce yourself to the Nigerians, to the audience listening to you. We would also appreciate if you tell us a bit about your background from childhood, your transitions in that process up to where you are at the moment, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Shuaibu and Solomon, for the opportunity to have this conversation and to have a discussion. And indeed, I am glad and I am most appreciative of the opportunity to meet you, in particular to share knowledge. Normally, it is rare privilege because there are quite a number of much more successful Nigerians, more entrepreneurial Nigerians, more prominent Nigerians than my humble self. And among all this, you deem it fit to invite me. I am indeed and privileged to be on the platform. One thing is certain, and with all sense of modesty, it is always a pleasure to have an opportunity to share knowledge, to mentor young Nigerians, whether they are, students or job seekers or entrepreneurs starting business. By way of starting, I have been a mentor under the Lagos Business School Mentoring Program, mentoring MBA students. And I've also been a mentor under the Harvard Alumni Association mentoring scheme, mentoring young business entrepreneurs in Nigeria, what we call the MSME mentoring scheme, that is micro, small, and medium scale enterprises mentoring scheme. So it is always a pleasure and an honor to share knowledge and to share experiences. By way of introduction, I will try not to talk so much about myself because yes, I'm not so much a known quantity, but I'm also not an unknown quantity. A lot is there in the social media. Once you Google my name, you will see a lot about me, but I will try as much as I can to paraphrase. I'm a 58 or 57 plus years old young man. I'm not so old, and I started my primary education. Why I will dwell so much on my childhood is I want a number of people to know what I went through when I was a child, so that they can learn a lot from some of the things that I passed through, and yet God has been so kind and wonderful. I am particular about this, that is why before I even stated, I'm drawing the attention of listeners and viewers alike to know this. I was born precisely on 23rd of April, 1964, in a village, a very remote area in the Birnungwari local government area of Kaduna State. And at the time of my birth, honestly, there was no third road to that village, talk less of having a pipe-borne water or electricity.
Right.
My great-grandparents were herders, and they were herdsmen. They were actually originally from Mali.
Right.
They were wandering and came and settled into Katsina before eventually moving with their sheep and goats and other animals and settled in that small village called Uganda. They actually founded that village.
Excellent.
My father didn't go to school, any Western education, nor my mother either. And my father he was a businessman, and was traveling from that remote village up to Freetown in present-day Sierra Leone, Lomé, Togo, in Accra. Needless to say, he passed through Lagos and Shagamu, where he trades in kola nut and other perishable items, and then he buys them, takes them up north, sell, and brings in cows and goats and sheep, and hide and skin down to the coast.
Right. Wow.
We lost him in 1975 when I was just about getting into secondary school. It was indeed a lethal blow
I can imagine.
because I was the closest son that he had. I was spending my nights in his room. I was the one bathing him when he was ill, when he had the terminal illness. So you could imagine losing a father at that age. Solomon, I thought of committing suicide, honestly, at that young age.
Well, there's no surprise there, sir. You see, because I'm just feeling the emotions. Sorry to interject. Because at 11, losing a father after caring for him, so that doubles your effort of being a carer and dealing with a childhood loss.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. And much more than that, I was very lucky because he had introduced me to business at a very young age. Whenever he travels down to the West Coast,
Right.
the shop and the items in the shop were left to my care. I sell them and I keep the accounting books or the records of what I sold, how much I sold, and where the money was. So I was introduced to business at a very, very young age. And indeed, at that age, I knew, the concept of saving, the concept of being on your own, meaning I was able to save and sew clothes. I can still picture some of the dresses I bought with my savings then, honestly. I still have a mental picture of them. Mm-hmm. Of course, he died, and the usual thing in Islam and in northern Nigeria, once a woman loses her husband,
right,
what brought her to that house is marriage. Now the husband is dead, marriage has collapsed. And she has to move on to go back to where? To her parents' house. So my mother literally had to leave our house and go back to her father's house. And I was left without a mother, without even a room to sleep. It was that difficult. And I was the eldest male child, from her. My father was polygamous. He had 4 wives. He left 23 of us. And I was the first to get a university degree.
Right.
That's, strenuous. While growing up, I was then, immediately after his death, I missed the opportunity to go to secondary school that year. So I was able to go the next year and to be able to pay for my school fees and buy my books. I had to farm. I had to be a commercial herder. Meaning commercial herder is someone who takes goats and sheep and cows from some household. Yep. You take 3 from here, 3 from that house, 5 from this, and you gather them together, you take them to the bush, and then they graze, then you bring them back, and they pay you 1 kobo, 2 kobo per goat or per sheep, or 3 kobo per cow. That's how I was able to gather the money that I was able to pay for transportation to go to secondary school or to have some pocket money while in secondary school. Right. I was able to finish my secondary school, no guidance, nobody to tell me what to read, whether I was doing well or not doing well in the school. No one was asking, what are you doing in school? How well are you doing? What course do you want to study? What do you want to become? No guidance, no any, thought. And guidance and counseling, even at that time in the secondary school that were run by government, there was no guidance and counseling masters, teachers.
Yeah.
So you can imagine, coming from the village, mixing with children that are coming from, say, cosmopolitan settlement like Zaria, Kafanchan, Kaduna, and there were even students from far away, Aba, in Abia State today, or from Lagos, or from other, cosmopolitan settlement. But to God be the glory, I was able to find my feet. And despite the fact that my teachers, I could remember one of my teachers, Mr. Joe Coley, a Ghanaian, used to tell me, oh, you are handsome, you have brain, and you are just whiling away the time. And I used to tell him, IRK, which means Islamic Religious Knowledge and Hausa combination in A-level. This is what I want to go and study. So please leave me alone. But we had, the mock examination without effort. And I saw that I was able to have passes and in some courses credit. And I said, hey, wait a minute. If I could get this credit in this subject matter or in that subject, why wouldn't I don't work harder? That was when I woke up from my slumber. I started reading hard, and eventually I got admitted, after making the mandatory 5 credits in my GCE O-level, I got admitted to read accountancy in Bayero University. I was lucky. One of my elder brothers, again of blessed memory, his name is Abubakar Magajitela, was very kind, very generous, humble. He took me as his son, even though we are same father with him, different mother, but he was there for me. He kept helping me with soft loan, sometimes dash, cash, so that go to university. So I went to Bayero University. I studied accountancy. I left Bayero University in 1985, and I ended up doing National Youth Service in a company called National Oil and Chemical Marketing Company in Port Harcourt then. The company is currently called Con Oil PLC in Nigeria. Right. I finished NYSC in 1986 and went back to Kaduna and started live as a civil servant. First as Inspector of Taxes in charge of direct collection. I was a staff of the Kaduna Board of Internal Revenue. And I started the job, but it wasn't fulfilling, it wasn't satisfying because there were no challenges. And I was a bit ambitious. All I could see myself was eventually becoming a staff of the World Bank. And I still had that dream, I still hold that dream till now, that I will one day be a staff of World Bank. Then I was looking for different other jobs. I applied to the World Bank. I applied to Central Bank of Nigeria and quite a number of other Nigerian banks. Right. I ended up getting employment with the then Chase Merchant Bank Nigeria, the American bank that had a branch in Nigeria. And I got recruited as an analyst in charge of lending. I started the work in 1987, and I worked for the bank down till somewhere around 1997 or so. For about 10, 12 years, I was with the bank. While with the bank, I worked both as a lending banker, investment banker, as well as operation arm of the bank. I was still pursuing my dream of working for the World Bank. And the World Bank, each time I apply, they come back to say, sorry, we're not going to recruit you, we'll not even consider you because you don't have a master's degree. So I said, oh, if it is a master's degree, I'm ready to go for master's. After all, I made a second class upper division in master's degree, so why not? Yeah. So they said, okay, if you want to do master's, apply to through World Bank Graduate Scholarship Scheme. That time they had that program. I applied the first year, I didn't get. The second year, when they didn't consider me, they gave me an advice. Why don't you widen your search for sponsorship? Why don't you apply to Commonwealth Scholarship? Why don't you apply to British Council or Canadian or USA? Then it widened my scope of scholarship opportunities. And then I started applying for those other scholarship opportunities. And I was lucky to get British Council Fellowship. I went to University of Wales under the scholarship of the British government. I studied a master's degree in development finance. And I finished in 1993. And I came back because then the bank I was working, the Chase Manhattan Bank, gave me study leave without pay. So I went for 1 year leave of absence, and I did the master's, and I came back. I rejoined the bank. Somehow, the government of Nigeria that eventually became the major shareholder in the bank decided to close the bank, and I moved on to a small finance company called Lakeside Investment. I was the deputy chief executive of Lakeside Investment for about 2 years, and I had issues with the leadership of that organization. And I left to join a bank called Liberty Bank, first as group head treasury, and then eventually I was transferred to group head Northern Operation, and I was in charge of the northern branches of the bank as well as public sector. I worked with the bank for about 2 years, and I left the bank, started my company called Timeline Consult Limited, and I was just doing financial and management consultancy. I spent about 1 year, 6 months. Then one of my then customers in the bank, by name Alhaji Aliko Dangote, the owner of Dangote Group, decided to give me opportunity to work for him, first as group head human resources of the entire Dangote Group. And I worked there, even though I read accounting, I didn't have a human resource background, but somehow Aliko Dangote, maybe because of my relationship with him, knew me much more than I knew myself, because I never thought I could possibly be a HR practitioner. So when I had that opportunity, I quickly registered with the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management to become a member, and then got a professional diploma, and I was able to serve the Dangote Group diligently as group head human resources for about 3 years. Subsequently, I was transferred to Treasury Department as group treasurer in charge of domestic treasury. I spent about 2 years in that capacity, and I was promoted to executive director in charge of sales and marketing, Dangote Flour, where I served as deputy managing director and subsequently as acting managing director of the flour milling division of Dangote. And I led the group in 2010 in my capacity as deputy managing director of Dangote Flour. Under me, I had the pasta division, and I had the noodles division. Both were subsidiaries, direct subsidiaries of Dangote Flour. I went back after I left Dangote. I went back to my Timeline Consult, where I am still working. I have ventured into politics. I did contest the governorship of my state, Kaduna, in 2007. We were defeated in the primary election by Namadi Sambo. About 9 of us contested, and Architect Namadi Sambo emerged as the flag bearer of PDP. In 2011, I tried my luck again, and I was prevailed by elders to step aside or step down, and I obliged and let Patrick Yakuwa eventually emerge as flag bearer of PDP. And I did attempt again in 2019. Yet again, I fell, and the flag bearer was a gentleman called Isa Ashuru. In a nutshell, these are my credentials or my little history as far as professional calling is concerned. I've been opportune to go on several courses, Solomon.
I can imagine. I can only imagine. Yeah.
I sponsored myself to Harvard to go for the advanced management program of Harvard. So I'm an alumni or an alumnus of Harvard University Business School. I am also an alumnus of Cambridge George Business School. I am an alumnus of Lagos Business School. Most of these I personally sponsored myself to go and read and at least improve myself. I love reading, and I am a regular commentator either on the print media in Nigeria or the electronic, particularly television. Most of the time, radio and television, they have any economic issues, financial issues, social issues, I'm being called upon to air my views. And well, I'm married, and thankfully God has blessed me with 2 children.
Okay.
Thank you.
Excellent stuff. Man, David, I'm blown away already. Like I said, this is not an interview, sir. It's a conversation.
It's a conversation.
Permit me to express my admiration already, because Nigerians don't surprise us at all. We don't get surprised by our prowess, neither by our accomplishment. I think what surprises majority of us Nigerian is we have so many leaders, that people can take value from, or people can really, really just set as role models, but we more or less don't have the right avenue to amplify these leaders. And the reason I'm saying that is because we listened to your story about your upbringing and the trials and tribulations you went through, being left alone at an early age, 11 years old, to take care of your dad, and then he passed away, and you still had to push forward. Now, the rest of the conversation can be centered around leadership from your point of view, or around continuous improvement for the Nigerians at home and in diaspora, all from a value point of view. The reason why I said that is because there's something that I've noticed. I don't know if you picked up on this, David. While Alhaji was talking, there was always a level of improvement in everything he was doing. There was continuous improvement, you see? So he would do something, he would look at it, he would clock it, and then improve to the next level, improve again. So when you ended saying you write for a few articles, you talk, you speak to journalists, you do all these things to let people gain awareness, I'm looking at an individual in front of me that is centered around value. As a Nigerian that has, you see what I'm saying? A Nigerian that has the kind of value that we are hoping you can exhibit more for the younger generation to at least know that this kind of lifestyle is very, very, it's doable if the required focus is there.
I'm just going to read a very quick quote from Alhaji himself. The tragedy of African politics, and not just Nigeria, is that men of ideas are not being sought to lead. Electorates are so poor and uneducated that they choose those without ideas to rule. We all have responsibility to see that this situation changes for the better. Together, we can make it happen. That is Alhaji's strong belief. Wow. Now, this takes me to his several attempts into politics. From just reading this quote, it is quite obvious that there's a lot of truth in it. To have tried to become governor of his state 3 times and have been put down, yet he hasn't given up. He still has the empathy for the youths and the people of his state. Now, this leads me to a question, sir. Are you still going to try and be a leader to your people in Kaduna State? If yes, what should they expect from you? What qualities are there to share with your people? If any Kaduna State indigene is listening now, what would you be telling them?
My brother, somehow I have become a bit frustrated.
No,
I'm depressed. I'm not depressed yet.
No,
but let me tell you, my renowned professor, Professor Pat Utomi, convinced me not to lose hope.
Yep.
And I always remember him at the back of my mind. He keeps telling me, Shuaibu, to lose hope is to die. To lose hope is to die. And we are not there, so we cannot lose hope. In 2007, why did I go into politics? It was out of providence, chance. Normally, I comment on issues, on national issues, criticizing government policies and programs and offering alternatives. Yeah. And a group of friends told me, Shuaibu, if you have these ideas, why don't you get into government? I said, look, I've never worked for government. Why should I? And I don't have the resources to do this. No, just go into it. And before you say, Jack, if you like, I was hoodwinked into politics. Yep. And I campaign on what I call the 3 I's. What are the issues?
Yep.
What are the ideas
yep.
that you can put forward to address the issues? And what are the ideal situations that you hope to achieve using those ideas to address those issues? So I always say the 3 I's. Look at the 3 I's. What are the issues? What are the ideas? And what are the ideals? Awesome. Now, are these electorates, as my brother has, espoused in my court, are these electorates ready to listen to these 3 I's? People are hungry. People are desperate. People are just looking for what to eat. Are you going to come and give me Dogon Turenchi, which is just long grammar, or you are giving me a handout that I will go, I need the next meal?
All right.
These are unfortunately where we are today. If it is a mistake, we've all made this mistake in 1998 when the military decided to say we are stepping aside, come and take over the leadership civilians. Quality materials, men of ideas, men of vision, majority refused to come forward.
Yep.
We stood by the side.
Yep.
Our third 11, or maybe even fourth 11, went forward and they are in leadership. Now you are looking at politics of godfatherism, politics of not ideas, but money bags, politics of tribalism, politics of religious bigotry and sentiment, not even party, not even ideology. Now, somebody like me, American trained, everything has to be on the table, transparent, ethical, sincere, and what have you, as opposed to under the table deal and hoodwinking and this corner, that corner. It is near impossible for someone like myself to make a success out of the Nigerian political situation as it were today. However, like I said, Padu Tomi always tells me, don't lose hope. A lot of people keep asking me, are you going to contest again? And I used to say, please, I have made a statement. I have tried. I produced a document called WIPER when I first ventured into politics. WIPER, wealth creation, infrastructure, peace based on equity and justice, entrepreneurship or employment, and then revenue generation. And that document was about 52 to 60-page document that, identified the issues at stake in Kaduna State, the ideas that I had to address the issues, and the ideal situation where I feel we need to get to.
Right.
I challenge anyone, ask anybody, with the probably exception of a few governors, how many have come up with any document to say, give me power. When I have the power, this is what I intend to do with power. Mostly is the campaign is on tribalism, on religion, on sex. Oh, it is my senatorial zone. Right. It is my turn. It is, this country can go forward with this kind of politics. And like Solomon rightly said, God has been so kind to Nigeria.
Oh, yeah.
He did not just bless us with land mass. Yep. He did not just bless us with mineral resources or arable land. He again blessed us with quality materials as, citizens of this country.
Thank you.
And unfortunately, we are not getting the dividend of these, God-given, assets.
Well, this is one of the reasons we are doing everything we've been doing for the last year. You see, you said something before. This whole platform started as a mentoring platform. And then, engagement with people like you here and in Nigeria, they've been saying, look, there's hundreds of us like this. Please, can you amplify these conversations? Can you enhance it? You see, when we started the conversation, you said something about mentoring, that you were a mentor. You did a few mentoring for younger people. The biggest problem that we've almost uncovered, it's not really the fact that we don't have these leaders. It's not the fact that we don't have the resources, David. It's the fact that the mentoring structure seems to be flawed. People who can mentor are not stepping up, willfully. They're not putting themselves out there. They don't have something to gain in return. But you've done this categorically out of the fact that you know what to do, you know how to do it, and you want to do it. You want to give back. Can you just buttress a tipping point where you realize that I've got to give back to Nigeria, so that people can step up as well, giving back? What was the tipping point for you in all of your career, from being a taxi inspector, which is something I really want to talk about at some point, down to running companies and leading people? So what is that tipping point that made you say, I've got to give back to people from a mentoring point of view?
You see, Solomon, those of us that are getting to 60 now, we are a few Nigerians that have benefited immensely from this system.
Right.
What do I mean? During our days in secondary school, at the end of every term, first and foremost, we were being fed in the boarding houses free. No school fees were being paid.
That's true.
When we were going on holidays, they will even give me transport fare, TP, to go back to my village.
Right.
So the only money my parents were giving me was the little pocket money that if I choose to buy anything while in school, and then the transport fare to take me back to school.
Right.
While in the university, meals were served at less than 50 kobo per meal. We were in hostels.
Yes.
And I was allowed to drop about 7 to 9 pieces of clothes every week for someone to come and pick, wash, iron, and bring back to me. We are, and indeed we were, the privileged Nigerian.
I can imagine. I know. I think I know.
Now, fast forward what is happening today. You better imagine what the universities are today. Secondly, even in the university, the quality of the education, at a point, University of Ibadan was incomparable in any standard, in any level, with the University of London. And there were even areas where UI was better than University of London.
Yeah, right.
Again, when we were working, I first started work on January 2nd, 1987, and Chase Manhattan Bank got us a flat in Lagos Island, in Ikoyi precisely, and we were put in the flat for 1 year. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner was being served by the bank, and I was being paid my salary, full salary, and then all I do is I go to the bank to get lectures for 9 consecutive months. Now, where and how can any Nigerian get this kind of thing today? The knowledge, the experience, the opportunities are just, unparalleled. Now, I sit down, and I sat down years back to say, Shuaibu, if I were to die today, what happens to this knowledge?
Yep.
I will go with it.
Yep.
However, if I'm able to touch maybe just 10 people that I can pass on the torch, then these people can then pass on the torch to another, then to another, then to another. That way, then you can magnify. I don't agree with you that, there are no mentors. The mentors are there, but people and the young Nigerians are seldom ready to be mentored. I tell you one experience. I won't mention name, but one time, Lagos Business School sent a lady for me to mentor. She visited me in my office. First, she saw the office, and then she saw a Hausa man. How can this man be my mentor? First, emotion, sentiment, parochialism went into her.
Yeah.
I was the one calling her to come for our mentoring conversation. It took some time before I could convince her that I have something to offer. So sometimes it is not that the mentors are not there. When Faith Foundation, together with Live Africa,
yeah,
Indi Onule, requested that we mentor the MSME. We had a partnership with the Harvard Business Alumni Association of Nigeria. Again, you have entrepreneurs coming in that they want to pick your brain either on my marketing skills, human resource skill, or finance skills. Again, you may have to be the one going after these gentlemen or these ladies so that you can mentor them. It is a bit of a, some of them are too eager to be where you are. When Rome was not built in a day, they want to be born today and then gyrate to become Aliko Dangote, or even more than richer than Aliko Dangote by tomorrow. So sometimes
I didn't think I said there weren't any mentors. I think what I was hinting at was the ones we have refused to step up. You see, like folks like you that are willing to step up, right? Fred, you say, oh look, I can lead, I want to be a governor, I want to be a leader or stuff, but people looking at you from a mentoring point of view, there's about 1,000 of guys like you that just, they can't, not that they can't be bothered, but they don't have the push to come out and give that value. That's what the difference is with guys like you and guys who are just, they've got the same experience, they've got the same knowledge, but there's the final push is not there. It could be because they're comfortable or they don't have a tipping point. So it's that tipping point that, you know, that's where the value is. That's what I'm trying to extract from our conversations. It's okay.
My tipping point was when a group of guys that were very, very close to me challenged me that you are talking too much. If you know, why don't you offer yourself for service?
Thank you.
If you criticize government, if you criticize those in authority, don't just talk. What is the option? If what they are doing is bad, what is the option? And if you have the opportunity, what will you do? Why don't you offer yourself to serve? And that is when I said, okay, wait a minute, let me roll my gloves,
yes,
in my hand, and then get into the ring and said, okay, I'm ready. And that was the tipping point. And I can tell you, two things were, you know, a bit of the factor to push me. Apart from, you know, that challenge,
right.
You see, when you travel, you know, there's probably no continent of the world that I have not been today. And I meet people and I try to intermingle and come down to any level to pick a knowledge from anyone, including a cleaner on the street.
Of course, yeah.
So that gives you an opportunity. I've been to China. I can see how the Chinese are doing. You know, from the north, I said, okay, let me study what the Igbos are doing. The age bracket, age groups, you know, of the Igbos, and then the training, the apprenticeship of the Igbo. How can we make it national? How can we make it international? You know, so those are the things. So once you put your mind in an inquiry position, your mind begins to challenge you, and then you now say, okay, let me implement this, let me implement that. Before I forget, you did allude to the fact that improvement. Yeah,
continuous improvement seems to be your trademark. Yeah. You know?
You won't believe, when Aliko Dangote asked me to be head of human resources,
right.
I have never worked in HR position anywhere. Yeah. All I know is I'm a bit of a stricter disciplinarian. When it is 9 o'clock, it's 9 o'clock. It is not 5 minutes after 9. It is not 1 minute after 9. It is time.
Right.
And then this is the right way. Anything other than that is the highway. And I don't respect individual and the straight color of your skin, or the religion you profess, or the tribe you speak, or anything. Do you have the qualities? Can you? So those were things that I hold dear. And when he asked me to go and be executive director of sales and marketing, I say, Alhaji, someone that read accounting, you've challenged to be human resources. Now you want me, I'm an old man, to go and be executive director of sales and marketing. I've never sold commodities. The only thing I sold were intangibles, financial products. No, Shuaibu, you can do it. I quickly registered with the Chartered Institute of Marketing in Nigeria. And I got a professional diploma in that to be able to deliver as executive director of sales and marketing. So once you have the can-do attitude, God has been so kind. And scientists have proven this gesture of God to us, that this thing called brain, hardly we use more than 25-30% of its capacity. So once you realize that, then you have the can-do, you develop the can-do attitude. Anything you are challenged to, you may be able to deliver if you have the can-do attitude and the passion.
This is brilliant.
I'm going to steal that line from you, Alhaji, that can-do attitude. I'm definitely going to take that and constantly use it. David, go on. Were you?
Yes, I was just going to say, Alhaji, as you are aware, over the years, a lot of intelligent Nigerians have decided to jump ship and reparate themselves abroad. Now, part of what our platform does is that these people who are abroad, who have these brilliant ideas, these brilliant brains, because it is a known fact that when you look at the Western world, Nigerians are starting to excel in various aspects of the Western world's polity. We have Nigerians in politics, we have Nigerians in business, we have Nigerians in medicine. In fact, some of the hospitals run in the UK are headed by Nigerians. These are statements of fact. We have Nigerians that are starting to get into the Houses of Parliament in the UK. We have Nigerians in the government of Biden in the United States. Now, I pose this to everybody. We, on this platform, are trying to restructure what we call the reverse brain drain. How can we harness these potentials that we have in diaspora? How can they collaborate with entities like yourself in Nigeria to improve the well-being and the welfare of our citizens, to bring back that knowledge that they have acquired and to impart that on our youth, because it's a known fact that the youth are the future of Nigeria.
Great one.
Well, David, this is a $1 million question, and it's a question that we can spend the next 1 hour to answer. Believe you me, really, you are right, and you are dead on, spot on point. India has benefited immensely from the reverse brain drain kind of situation.
100%.
The India Diaspora Fund, for example, is probably one of the highest in the world today. Malaysia, Indonesia, and Bangladesh, they have also been able to get dividends from this reverse brain drain that you mentioned. I think Nigerians, we have a fundamental problem. What is that fundamental problem? As long as we don't look at the entity called Nigeria as ours and forget about the sectional and political nonsensicalities of tribalism or religious bigotry, will not go anywhere.
I agree.
I tell you, I make bold to state that if there is anybody that believes so much in Nigeria, is the Igbo man. Why do I say so? There is no village in Nigeria up to Maiduguri that you will not see an Igbo man. And because he believes in it, he will own properties, he will own farmland, he will have shop, pharmaceutical spare parts, or what have you, and yet they are somewhat being persecuted for the few miscreants that do not necessarily align with the majority. The same thing, the diaspora Nigerians needs to look at fundamentally maybe 3 or 4 areas that we need massive, assistance to as a way of reversing the brain drain. Number 1, education. Nigeria's quality of education has not only deteriorated, but has collapsed. I have a friend, Professor Ken Amasi. He's just been recently appointed as a director in charge of sustainable development and corporate governance of a European university. Nigeria. He's a Nigerian. Ken Amasi is an Igbo guy.
Oh, wow.
Kennedy. So this is, and when you have such material, we all know of Ogulesi, Bayero.
Yeah.
He's a non-quantity. We have so many that we have been told. The doctor that operated on Ronald Reagan when someone attempted his life to extract the bullet was a Nigerian.
Yeah.
So we need those kind of materials either to be visiting professors or to come back, even if it is on sabbatical, 6 months, 1 year, and tolerate the nuances of the environment and be focused to impact the value they need to impact so that the educational standard can be upped, if you like, up the ante. Number 2, agriculture. Needless to say, in Africa today, I'm not sure if we have a better person that has knowledge of agriculture and agricultural economics as much as Dr. Additional, the current gentleman that is running African Development Bank.
Yeah.
There are many of people like him from the west to the east. Only this morning, I was reading a piece someone sent me that Ghanaians are getting disturbed because China wants to begin to export cocoa because they have genetically engineered cocoa and they can produce cocoa in China. Why can't Nigerians come back, say, where are we in rubber? Where are we in cocoa? Where are we in groundnut? Where are we in sesame seed? Where are we in cashew nut? Where are we in even mangoes that we can produce in large quantity? So the reverse brain drain Nigerians can come back and say, hey, wait a minute, I will set up a company, or let us team up to set up a company and do and use STI, science, technology, and innovation to produce these materials. Why can't Nigerians do that? The diaspora who are now having access to first-class, technology. 3, medical. Isn't it a shame, Solomon and David, that our president will have to go to United Kingdom to visit a doctor? I want to cry. I want to shed tears. How much will it cost to equip the presidential villa clinic?
The thing is, the doctor he sees is probably a Nigerian.
That'll be the irony.
What I'm saying.
That'll be the irony.
A friend of mine, Dr. Folabi Ogulesi, he practices medicine in United Kingdom. He has a company in Nigeria, and he crisscross between Nigeria and London. When this COVID started, Emeritus Professor of Blessed Memory Akim Kube, myself, Folabi Ogulesi, we visited Akim Kube, and we started talking about this, and the way Folabi Ogulesi was so passionate about what the country needed to do in order that we don't get to where we got into. And they had the opportunity to sit down with the Minister of Health. Much was not done. So again, in healthcare, we need to do what? The diaspora need to come back to set up clinics and to help with the reverse brain drain. A lady friend of mine recently lost 2 of her legs simply because of Nigerian doctors' negligence. Blood was clotting in her legs and they didn't know what to do, and they left her, and the 2 legs had to be amputated. Why will we allow a fellow Nigerian suffer that kind of ailment when I have quality materials in British, in US, in Chinese and Japanese, medical institutions? I do know a number of people have been frustrated. A friend of mine who is a professor of medicine, he was working with an Omani university. Kano state government brought him back and made him chief medical director of, I think, Northwestern University or so. And he got frustrated and had to leave because there was no fund. He needed equipment. He wasn't asking that, give me the money to buy the equipment. I just need this, I need that. Nothing was given. But for how long will you allow someone to frustrate you? So the reverse drain can be in medical science. Finally, we are having issues of governance. All this thing we are talking about, David and Solomon, is issue of leadership.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to ask you, is it governance or leadership? So you hit the nail on the spot. Yeah?
See, it's leadership. It's leadership.
100%, yeah.
All of us have shied away from getting into politics because we say politics is a dirty game.
Yeah.
Now, good old days, when our forefathers had pit toilet, can you clean a pit toilet without going into it?
Exactly.
Not possible.
I see what you mean, yeah.
Can you clean a soccer way without getting into the soccer way? So we need to come back. We need to restore the leadership. We need to make sure that, yes, okay, even if they are asking for money, we can't give the money. Let's continuously drum the truth. Because when a lie got to be repeated too often, what happens to it? It assumes the resemblance of truth.
Yeah.
And why it takes the position of truth, and it only goes away as lies when the truth comes out. So who comes to tell the masses that this is the truth? So that's why Nigerians, they need to earn the money, they need to come back, and they need to come back as a united front. It's pleasing for some of us that are living in Nigeria to see that the Nigeria in diaspora is a united forum. I would probably have stayed in United Kingdom after my master's degree. A friend of mine, Peter Abraham, told me, Shuaibu, what do you want to go back and do? Please stay. I said, look, I don't belong here. I had a covenant with the people who sponsored me that I will go back to Nigeria. And then my organization gave me leave of absence. Why should I renege on my contract? So I couldn't stay and I came back. I'm happy I did, but I bet you, Nigerians in diaspora, they need to come back to help us with mentoring, agriculture, with medicine, with education, and above all, to either get into leadership position or look for quality materials to sponsor. Even if it is at council level, a councillor in a local government, if you are able to make a difference in a local government, let there be islands of success that one can say, look at that, look at this, look at there. So that way we will build islands and eventually we will have a mass, a large mass of success.
Wow. Alhaji, I'm sure Solomon can back me up on this. You see, everything you've just mentioned, if you have a look at our platform, we have a podcast series in which we've taken all these things you've mentioned, discussed it with various diasporans, discussed it with various Nigerians, And in fact, as we speak,
Yep.
some Nigerians, courtesy of this platform, are starting to actually deliver.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
What you've just mentioned in agriculture, in health,
Yep.
in education.
Yeah.
I will give you an instance. There's a profile of a Health for Nigeria scheme.
Oh yeah.
Which was formulated in Canada.
Yeah.
It is starting to operate in Ekiti State. It is starting to operate in Oyo State, and very soon will be operating in Edo State. With agriculture, there is a foundation also in North America called IBWU.
It begins with you. That's what it means. It's a diaspora initiative that's centered around agriculture. So we had a conversation with them. IBWU. It's so we had a chat with them last year. They've rolled out successful projects through this initiative as well. But David, again, I think the key thing Alhaji mentioned there was the need, the constant need for that continuous pushing, continuous banging on, continuous improvement, Yes. And obviously this being a podcast, it's one of those things that our job is to make sure that people continuously listen to the value in it. It's not by saying, hey, 1,000 or 1 million people listen. It's you download it and it's your companion. Constantly, it improves the individual. That's why we chose this channel, this kind of operational channel, where we know once you have it on your phone or you have it with you, you can listen to it constantly, and extract the value.
Anytime you can listen to it anytime.
Exactly. So wow, that's 1 hour of our time, but I don't know
1 hour
for a part 2. I'd like to share progress with you. So this is amazing, man.
I think I will also add before we wrap up that there is also a need for the diaspora Nigerians to please, whenever they are called upon to come and serve the nation, no matter the lucrative nature of the salary, the allowances, or the income you guys are making, people should please double to follow the footsteps of Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, who left her lucrative job in World Bank to come and be minister. We do know that former President Olusegun Obasanjo did ask Bayero to come and become his finance minister, and he rejected. Such an exercise shouldn't be the case. Our motherland requires every little bit of an effort. Remember Pakistani President Zia-ul Haq, this guy that took over power as military man and eventually transmitted to become civilian. He called a gentleman from World Bank to become his finance minister. And before he becomes a minister, he needed to be a member of parliament because they are using the British system of government. And they paved way for him to become a member of parliament and eventually to be a minister. I mean, such are the kind of things that Nigerians in diaspora should do. And then you should also step up constructive engagement and critique of government. You can do that in several ways. Now that we have the Nigerian in Diaspora organization, as well as the Nigerian Diaspora organization as a standalone entity in Nigeria headed by Abike Dabri, through that mechanism, you can access government to make suggestions. The other ways is to also register as individuals in the various BMOs, the business member organization, and through such mechanism, through such forum or fora, you can make case, your knowledge, your ideas. Institute of Directors, for example, can give you an opportunity to say, okay, we are doing members evening or meet a minister. Then we invite, say, a Solomon come and speak on environment, if that is your thing. For many other organizations, Nigerian British Chamber of Commerce, just last week, Nigerian French Business Council appointed Abdul Samad Rabiu to be its chairman, assuming the diaspora organization say the cell in France now decide to be a member of that, and then they will champion any suggestion in policy to government through that platform. We have to engage those in authority. We have to bombard them with ideas, and we must not get tired. Again, learn from me, we must not lose hope.
That's it.
Excellent.
That's the truth about it. I mean, Alhaji, I would say your persona is one that is very contagious. I mean, based on how you deliver what it is you have to say, and obviously how the experience you've gone through. The value for me before we kind of let you go is I think there's a lot that you can do to help shape the mindset of Nigerians, not just abroad here when they listen to you, but back home. The shaping of the mindset based on your experiences, especially from a leadership point of view. A lot of people miss that kind of not necessarily father figure, but that kind of information about what they've been through and giving back based on what they've been through, but still hindering, or rather still anchoring on hope for Nigeria. So I think that's, for me, that's what I've gotten from today's conversation with you, in terms of, wow, there are people willing to give to the last, to give hope back to us, to make us see that in as much as, this is about politics, but a leader in an individual like you can be contagious, and 100 people can pick on that, and before you know it, you have 1,000, you have 1 million. Like you said, it just takes one person, to exhibit that level of leadership with empathy, which is what I think you've done. So I can only thank you. And
thank you very much. And I honestly, I will give you the permission to share my email. Anyone who is interested in learning from any of my little experiences, I'm WAR, willing, able, and ready. Yes. I can tell you, with modesty, I mentor people as far as Namibia.
I can imagine.
As far as Switzerland. And we just met on LinkedIn. Oh, I need this business idea. And we speak, and I give them idea. I have friends in Guinea-Conakry that I have never seen, told. And we mentor them, give them ideas. And my belief is humanity is a club. I'm opportune to be a member of that club. An Indian, a Chinese, an American, a British, if any one of them is lost, I have lost. Okay. And I'm losing. Because why? A member of my club called humanity is gone. And that is why, my doors, windows, and all channels are open for mankind to pick from any of the knowledge God has been able to give me.
Based on that, sir, we'll be very happy to let our business people who are already engaging in collaborations on our platform, we'll be very happy to get them to reach out to you to see if they can expand whatever they are doing to your state in Kaduna or any other Nigerian state in which you have influence. We're very grateful for your time. It's been a brilliant 1 hour. Like Solomon said, we hope there'll be a part 2, which will be a follow-up from the gains of the value we've learned today. Obviously, we will let you know. I would like to schedule you for a second podcast. I'm grateful. Solomon, is there anything you want to say? Let's give Alhaji the last word.
Just anytime we speak to our leaders, I put it that way, from Nigeria, me being in the diaspora, I'm always humbled. Let's put it that way. I'm always humbled to say that we have so much value to give back. And here I am again with an individual who has gone through a lot, highlighted his tipping point, highlighted his career, and willing to give back hope. So that's what I want to take from it. So
Alhaji, we'll give you the last word.
Well, David, Solomon, like I started, I give God the glory, and I thank you very much for the opportunity to share this knowledge. And I do pray that God in his infinite mercies will bless our efforts, no matter how little we are able to to do. And above all, I pray that those who might be able to look at this, if there were mistakes, let them please forgive us. We are humans, we may have made mistakes after all. And then for the little knowledge we share, may it be beneficial beyond even our lifetime. It is interesting and gratifying to know that you guys are doing this. And may God in his infinite mercies bless your efforts, and may you live longer to continue to do this good work. There are very few that are able to make this. There are very few that are able to make this sacrifice, and we will continue to do that. And I still call on the younger Nigerians. The future is bright. Believe you me sincerely, the future is bright. I give you a simple example. This is a bottle of groundnut. A lady came to me wanting me to help her with money. I've known her for some time, and I guided her to start frying peanuts after I asked her to go and do a market survey from the street where my office is. I said, just go out, go with a sheet of paper, just take a tally. Any business you see, write the name. By the time she came back, she saw like majority of the businesses were peanuts, roasted peanuts. And I said, lady, go and do peanut, but don't do the peanut like others do.
Yeah.
Fry your peanut with sea salt. Fry it with sea salt. Those of us that are having high blood pressure, we are not allowed to take so much of salt. Sorry to take a little more of your time.
No, it's not a problem.
And I said to her, distinguish yourself. Today, this woman is supplying close to about 57 supermarkets in Lagos. For your information, believe you me sincerely, I know Lagos much more than I know my state. I'm not ashamed to say this. Because of my Dangote days, there is probably no state. Indeed, there is no state of Nigeria that I don't have, a foothold on. So if somebody wants, say, an assistant in Abia State, or Zamfara State, or in Ekiti State, I am in a position to tell you that, I've been to this part of Ekiti, I've spent nights there, or I've been to this part of Enugu or Anambra or Imo State, and I can help you with that. It is social, like the Bible says, ask and ye shall be given. Knock, the door shall open. Seek and ye shall find.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. We're grateful, and we'll see you again, sir.
Thank you, David. Solomon, it's a pleasure to have you. Thank you.
It's my pleasure to have you. Yes, sir. Thank you. And I will send you a LinkedIn thing, so at least we can have a connect there. Okay.
Exactly.
No problem. And anytime you want to have the part 2, just give me a shout.
Once we get the feedback and people are engaged, we'll prompt that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, David. I appreciate it.
Bye for now. All right.
Bye.